Welcome back. CBS News polling completed just before the U.S. launched strikes on Iran shows the majority of Americans disapproved of the president's job performance. President Trump's approval rating stood at 41% at the end of last week, as you see here. CBS News polling also shows most Americans disapproved of the president's handling of immigration, the economy and inflation prior to the start of the war with Iran. Rina, Shah and Payne join me now from our Washington bureau to discuss this and more. Rina is a former senior GOP congressional advisor, and Joel is a CBS News political contributor and Democratic strategist. Good morning to you both and welcome. I quickly want to get reaction from you on what some senators had to say about this conflict just yesterday. Listen to this.
President Trump's decision to launch this decisive action against Iran is the single most important decision of his presidency. I think he laid out powerfully and effectively why he is taking this action. He is taking this action because the government of Iran is a profound and malign influence.
What is the national interest of our country going to war right now, and why are we going to expend potentially the blood of Americans and potentially destabilize a whole area? There is no leadership right now that's coming from this president, and we're in the middle of dropping bombs right now, and men and women are dying.
So effectively, you got justified and necessary or not in our national interest. Rina and then Joel, whose argument will resonate more, do you think, among Americans?
Well, I actually think it could be a mix. I think both men are true, and what they're saying is not, their statements are true. What they're saying is not wrong. And on the one hand, yes, taking out a key figure like Khamenei in Iran is something that took courage. It's something that previous presidents have not done. And I think all the markers were there showing President Trump that he could do it. And so he took that risk. But I think at the same time, for Senator Gallego, he's also saying that there is a little bit of a lack of leadership here. Not a little bit. He obviously said a lot. Because Trump actually, I believe, is wrong to have not come before the American people in an Oval Office address and explain his actions, the why, the what, and the end game. That is really what people want to know, because this is a country that is fatigued with war, and we need to know what is the plan here. And Trump not having given us that, I think also makes the Democratic senators' points true as well.
And Joel, where do you think most Americans will resonate with what we just heard?
Well, Errol, you cited the 41% approval that Donald Trump has in this latest CBS poll. I know I saw a polling this weekend that showed that less than a quarter of the country, or about a quarter of the country, agrees with the idea of an unprovoked attack on Iran. And I think that that's only going to drag Donald Trump's numbers down further. What's also important to center here and to not miss is that Donald Trump was elected in part, not just by people outside of his base, but people inside of his base who were war weary, who were tired of endless wars. You've heard people from the MAGA part of his coalition, and you've heard people from the manosphere talking about how Donald Trump was going to prevent American men and women, boys and girls going into war across the world. And you know, Donald Trump has betrayed that. He didn't just betray it with Iran. This is actually the 8th country that he has attacked or invaded since he became president some 14 months ago. And so I think that there is a weight that Donald Trump and his supporters are carrying. And I think the fact that Donald Trump is going against what many people thought was going to be a directional change in the kind of neocon status quo Republican orthodoxy on war, I think that's a real political problem for him. And the last thing I will just say, Errol, Democratic lawmakers, particularly Democratic senators, are learning very quickly where the base of the Democratic Party is. You showed Ruben Gallego. Mark Kelly was on one of the Sunday shows this weekend. He had to go and actually correct his comments because some of his comments led to such a firestorm within the Democratic coalition about potentially not supporting the War Powers Resolution in Congress. So there's a lot going on here, a lot flying.
Well, Rina, I want to ask you about what's happening on the Republican side, because there's a statement from former Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a former supporter of Trump, now, a critic of his. And here's what she wrote, quote, "We said no more foreign wars, no more regime change. Trump, Vance, basically the entire administration campaigned on it and promised to put America first. There are 93 million people in Iran. Let them liberate themselves." How concerning is this for the MAGA base that is the core chunk of Mr. Trump's support?
This is the biggest liability for Trump. The liability there is his own people not backing up his own actions. Right in the aftermath of the strikes on Iran, I was hearing from America First folks who say this is not what we wanted. The president has betrayed us, betrayed our support. But I hear from senators like Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina who say this was about taking out the largest state sponsor of terrorism. And without doing this, we could not create a safer world for all. So the justification is already starting. But again, I'm one of those people that is actually more aligned with former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says that we really need to focus on what's happening inside our borders instead of outside. I get it. Decades of authoritarian control by somebody like a Khamenei. Eliminating him is important. And now there's a real opportunity for internal change in Iran, which is what Iranian Americans wanted. They are celebrating. They are applauding Donald Trump, even though they may not have voted for him. But without a transition strategy that involves regional actors. I'm talking EU partners. I'm talking about moderate Arab nations. We will risk so much here. We risk creating a power vacuum. And these power vacuums, the past has told us, create an opportunity for people, dark actors like Russia and China, to walk in. That is what I'm most concerned about in this moment.
So a concerning note from Rina there. Joel, we always say, you know, a day or a week in politics is an eternity. The midterm elections are about, what, 8 months away? So it's with that caveat, I ask this question: how might this impact the midterm elections?
Well, I'll just say this. Usually a big military commitment like this, the first day is the day that's the high water mark. So this will be only as popular as it was yesterday. It will not be more popular than it was 24 hours ago. Meaning, as the American people see the scenes from a girls' school being bombed, they see planes being shot down over Kuwait, they see now a fourth American service member has been killed in action. This will be a weight not just on Donald Trump, but on Republicans who have to run with Donald Trump. And I think that this will actually color the 2028 primary on both the Democratic and Republican side. You cannot be a Democrat and be on the wrong side of this issue. And I actually think Republicans who will run in 2028 are going to be challenged to create some distance from Donald Trump on this issue, because I think it will age so poorly.
Well, we'll certainly watch closely to see how all of this plays out. We do have American lives at risk here. Rina, Shah and Joel Payne, thank you so much for being with us today.